Super chat from Jake Sanchez, $5 one. Appreciate it. Should the Steelers trade for Avery Williamson or another inside linebacker on the last year of their contract?
You know, I like that fit, actually. I hadn't really put 2 and 2 together in terms of Avery to Pittsburgh. But, yeah, Bush is out for the year. Avery on that 1-year deal makes a lot of sense. I don't think he'd be that expensive. I think you could get him for a day 3 draft pick. And, look, Pittsburgh's in right now with Big Ben, who, by the way, not the same Big Ben. The arm's not there anymore.
He still looks good, though,
He's good in the intermediate field.
Yeah.
Downfield, it's not there. But you're contending. You're a good NFL team. You have a small window with your quarterback still. I think that makes a lot of sense for Pittsburgh.
They're a great team. They could be number 1 in their power rankings.
They might be. I think I'm going to put them at number 1.
Let's go to Eric Bauer. If Dallas falls to the top 10 draft pick, should they draft a quarterback like Fields or Zach Wilson from BYU and focus the money on defense?
I'm happy to have the discussion around Justin Fields more than I am about Zach Wilson, just because I've seen it more from Fields than a small sample size from Wilson. I think you have to have the discussion here of what's the better path, paying the quarterback or trying to pay a defense. And Mitch, let's go with Fields here. Now Lawrence, I think we're both in agreement. You take Trevor.
Yes.
What's the % chance Justin Fields is a top 10 NFL quarterback within 4 years?
Honestly, I think it's a very high chance. Okay. I'm a big fan of Fields. But
how high? Like how high are you going to go there?
See, the issue is I hope Justin Fields turns out to be Dak.
Exactly. And if you're banking on I hope I get Dak Prescott, maybe just pay Dak Prescott. Isn't that a better path?
The issue though is
I'm down to have that discussion. I truly am. But I think where I'm at, outside of Trevor Lawrence, and maybe Fields plays out of his mind, and I put Fields in the same category, in which point you're probably not going to be able to get him anyway.
Yep.
If your options are just pay the damn quarterback or hope we get a quarterback as good, I think you're better off paying the quarterback because it's easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier to build a defense through the draft than it is to find a new top 10 quarterback. I think that might be a better path there. But let's have that discussion for sure.
Thomas Kirkpatrick, you're next up here. Make sure you guys are using hashtag NFL or you can super chat. We go live every single Wednesday and Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you guys join us for your live shows because guess what? That's how you guys get featured on the show. All right, what do we got here? Can the Bucs trade Lesean McCoy? They don't really need him now.
Who needs Lesean McCoy right now?
I have no idea.
The answer is nobody. Like Ronald Jones, Fournette, and even Keyshawn Vaughn, I think they're pretty clearly better.
Oh, yeah.
Like Shady McCoy, 16 touches for 60 yards. Like that's touches averaging sub 4 yards per touch. And on the ground this year, he's got 6 carries for -1 yards. He's just not good anymore. I don't think there's going to be any interest at all in a Shady trade.
The only team that could even be remotely interested in him might be the Philadelphia Eagles if Miles Sanders still gets injured because they were showing interest before. But I'm in agreement with you. The Shady McCoy days, they are long, long gone. Mark Willis, you're next up here. After losing OBJ, will the Browns still trade David Njoku away? I like this question a lot. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Njoku trade rumors. They've been using Harrison Bryant, Austin Hooper, obviously more. But with David Njoku, he said that he wants out.
He wants to be traded again because he made the initial trade request and then rescinded it, and now is back and wants to be traded again. Njoku's in a weird spot where he's clearly tight end number 3 for Cleveland right now. It's clearly Austin Hooper, who did miss this past game with I think it was appendicitis.
Yes.
And they started Harrison Bryant instead. Njoku was tight end 2 in that game, but the Browns love to use multiple tight ends. They absolutely love to do it. So what they would get back is a 5th, maybe a 5th round pick.
On a tight end that you drafted in the first round.
And at which point they're like, no, we're going to use this guy. We're competing. We're not going to trade him away for a 5th round pick. So despite what Njoku wants, I'm not going to get my hopes up for the Browns actually trading him away.
So Tom's going to go with N for no. Will the Browns end up trading David Njoku? Y for yes, N for no. You know what, Tom, I'm going to get ballsy. I'm going to go with yes here because Njoku clearly wants out. And if you're the Browns, I'm not saying the trade for Njoku you're going to be able to get a piece to be able to compete with the Steelers or Ravens. That's not it. But you are still a team that is lacking a lot more talent than those other 2 teams ahead of you. Maybe you get a 4th round pick for him.
But is a 4th round pick really going to provide enough of an impact long term?
But he's your 3rd tight end.
But you're using him a lot more than a normal team uses a 3rd tight end.
But to me, if I'm the Browns, I try to get a 4th round pick, move on from him. He just clearly doesn't want to be there. All right, got some super chats. Mr. Lubo, should the Cowboys draft Micah Parsons if available?
Look, I like Micah Parsons a lot as a prospect,
He's
but
number one
I
linebacker.
don't know if I want to invest in another linebacker who, by the way, because I did all my pre-advanced scouting on him because he already turned pro and whatnot. You know, he reminds me of
Don't say Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith. Yes, he does. It's pre-injury Jalen, but his flaws are the same. I actually don't like Parsons that much in coverage. They asked him to blitz a lot, which it's fine. He offers value on third down. He's still going to be a round 1 grade for me. But if it came down to, hey, do you want Micah Parsons or that round 1 corner, probably going to take the corner instead. So I'm fine with it. Just remember, there are concerns there too, okay? A good player. Don't get me wrong on that one.
All right, we'll stick into another Cowboys question. Appreciate the super chat from Troy Daniels. Should Dallas get Cam Fleming from the Giants?
I don't really know why they'd bother. Like, you trade away a draft pick for a guy that, by the way, you cut before the season began because you need offensive tackle help, yes, but Cam Fleming isn't going to move the needle at all for you about being a contender. So I'd say keep your draft pick instead. I think that makes a lot more sense if you're the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think it's a good call there.
So make sure you guys are using hashtag NFL or super chatting to get on the show. Before we get to the next question, I do want to remind y'all we have a special deal going on. Chatsports.com/jersey sale. NFL jerseys up to 33% off. I actually almost just said Des Bryant. I still see 88.
Lamb 88, come on,
That's
buddy.
where my mind goes.
Come
If you
on.
want this Atlanta Falcons jersey, this is one of the ones that is up to 33% off because it's considered a old jersey. So go ahead, get yourself a new one. Chatsports.com/jersey sale. And even though the NFL trade deadline's right around the corner, let's say you go out and get a player. Maybe Juju gets traded. You have trade insurance, which basically means, guess what? You can get a free jersey if your player is traded. Chatsports.com/jersey sale. That link is available for you in the live chat and in the description. Go ahead, get your favorite player or team. Zay NJ, Sam Darnold to the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't know what the benefit here for Minnesota is.
Yeah, they're sellers.
Because, they're sellers, and I get you could get a draft pick, but you might be in quarterback draft pick range. You know what actually makes the most sense for Minnesota? Trey Lance. Because he's going to need a year to develop anyway, so you can stick with Kirk Cousins because his contract almost forces you to, and then you give Trey Lance the job after that, and when you can move on from Kirk. I think that makes more sense trading for Sam Darnold.
Okay. The real deal. I love that name. Should the Saints trade Michael Thomas? No.
No. I get that there are concerns around Michael Thomas of, it's the injury. He's got attitude issues, blah, blah, blah. I think you keep him. He makes your offense better. And unless you can void those guarantees, which you probably aren't able to right now, not sure it's actually the best
obviously
path.
a team that's still in win-now mode. Emmanuel Sanders, he just went to IR. I mean, it's about to get really thin. Yes, they continue to win. Alvin Kamara's had a great year. But no, you can't trade your best player, honestly. Type sub if you are a subscriber to Chat Sports. We just crossed 204,000 subscribers. We don't say it enough, but we do appreciate everyone who watches. We thank you all. We get people from watching literally all over the world. It's amazing. So if you aren't subscribed, hit that big red button. Tune in. We drop new videos every 3 hours, every single day. If you want the latest NFL news, we got you covered. Heck, we've just started doing a lot more NBA stuff as well.
Yeah,
so
off
type
season's
sub.
here, baby.
We got Kyle, we got Giannis, a lot of new people. Preto as well. Big Play Slay. We appreciate all of y'all for subscribing. Nick, much love. Looking forward to the offseason. Should the Colts trade for Wentz, especially if he continues to regress in Philly? I'll tell you what, I like the fit a lot because of Frank.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Frank Reich.
I would also argue if Wentz continues to regress, maybe you actually don't want him. Carson Wentz, his mechanics are kind of busted up this year. I don't think his knee is very healthy.
See, if I'm Frank Reich, I can be like, you know what? I got the most out of Carson.
I can fix him. I think that's fair, but if he looks worse, maybe you just
you
say
also,
go
I mean,
different
you
route.
also signed Phillip Rivers to a 1-year contract.
But he'll be done after this year. So next off
No, I'm saying
season,
like if you're looking at what
I
Phillip
see what
Rivers
you mean.
did in
I see
2019,
what
you're
you
like,
mean,
you know
yeah.
what? I can turn him into a quarterback. Why wouldn't you think the same
Wentz
for
is
a
in a
guy?
weird spot where in every game he is simultaneously elite, also terrible, and also middling. Like you don't know what you're going to get on any given play.
Yeah.
Maybe Frank Reich can fix that. I would keep an eye out for it. We have to see what happens though with Philadelphia though as the season goes on.
What up, Mr. Lubo again? Patrick Sertain or Marvin Wilson for the Cowboys pick?
Trick question, you trade down. Continuing this draft discussion.
Okay.
If Dallas sends up, I think the ideal outcome long-term for the Cowboys, they continue to be a bad football team, and they get a top 5 pick or so, and one of those top 3 quarterbacks is on the board. And a quarterback-needy team says, we need it. We will trade it. We will give you draft picks. Then you move down, and you're just going best defensive player, maybe left tackle on the board with every single pick. Okay. And you rebuild your defense that way. So either one doesn't matter to me. I like Sertain a lot. I like Marvin Wilson a lot. You can talk me in either way.
Next question from Apex, am I right? And then I see, I also want to give a shout out to Miguel DeValley, who sent in a 99-cent super but didn't have a question. Appreciate it, my man. Who do the Raiders go trade for? I think the players that come to my mind, Harrison Smith, or Anthony Harris. Anthony Harris.
I actually like Harrison Smith.
I do
more
too.
on
It's
team.
a free safety.
I think that's actually a better
Marcus
fit.
May would be pretty interesting to me if you get it from the Jets. Carlos Dunlap, I would say, is the most likely with the Paul Gunther connection. I mean, you're looking at a team they need to make something. You got to do something. You need a free safety. You need to be able to get after an edge rusher. But if anything, I mean, you got to fire Paul Gunther. Gia, Patriots tank for Trey Lance confirmed. Source.
I appreciate you not saying Trevor Lawrence. They're not going to be able to get Lawrence here. My problem with the Patriots truly getting into quarterback range is this. They have games still coming up against the Jets twice, Houston as well. They're pretty bad. And the Chargers. I know the Patriots are looking like a bad football team right now. I think that's understandable. They still might get to 5 or 6 wins. And with the way this year is going, that's probably not going to be top 5.
That's true.
And that might be just outside of Trey Lance range because quarterbacks always go earlier than arguably they should with their over individual talent. I think it'd be a great fit in New England. I would love to see Belichick and McDaniels and Lance working together. I think it's a really good landing spot for him. But as bad as they've been the past couple weeks, I'm not sure they end up being there.
Okay. Perito, you're next up here on NFL Daily.
It's pronounced Presto.
Huh?
I'm kidding. I was making a joke that you always mispronounce people's names.
Deion Jones or Myles Jack to the Eagles. Okay, what would the trades look like for them?
That's a tough one because those guys just got paid or got paid in the past year and a half.
Who would you rather have, Deion Jones or Myles
Jack? He's been really good. He's been like Jack has been like the lone good defensive player for the Jags. I think you're looking at least a day 2 pick, probably more than a day 2 pick. And honestly, if I'm Philly, as badly as they need a linebacker, the cost involved with those guys' contracts might be a little bit prohibitive to them. But I would explore for sure Philadelphia because their linebacking core sucks. Get Nate Geary off the damn field, please.
Speaking of Deion Jones, let's look now at the NFC South. Who's going to end up winning this division, Tom? I want you to type TB for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give me a CAR for the Carolina Panthers. NO for the Saints. Yeah, we'll just stick with that. So, Buccaneers or the Saints, let us know who's going to win the NFC South.
I've been more impressed this year by Tampa.
They've been great.
Now, the Saints already won that first game. So, head-to-head, they have a bit of an advantage there. Well, of course, what happens the rest of the season. Maybe getting back Michael Thomas will get the Saints team back on the right path. I think I might lean TB, though. That defense is even better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I was the one saying it was a top 10 defense under the year. They've been top 3.
5. Yeah, top 5.
It might be the best defense in the NFL this year without Vita Vea. It's wild.
Very, very wild. Carson, what's up? Since Seattle lost, do you predict we for sure should trade for a pass rusher?
I mean, should, yes. For sure they will. I'm not sold yet. I think a Carlos Dunlap, a Ryan Kerrigan, insert any edge rusher on the trade block would be a good move for Seattle. The defense has problems. And getting back Jamal Adams will help, especially actually in the pass rush because he's such a good blitzer. But when you're rushing 4 like they did against Arizona, I mean, there was nothing. There were a couple plays here and there, but they had nothing going.
As great as Seattle's been, they are on pace to give up the most passing yards in NFL history.
And that's a huge concern. They've done a great job of getting pressures in there. And Benson Mayowa has been fairly consistent about getting pressures there.
He knows his role.
But, I mean, they had no quarterback hits. Against an admittedly mobile quarterback. But those edge guys, Jaron Reed and Jonathan Bullard had a pass rush. He's Reed's an interior guy. DeMontre Moore had one. It's just not there outside of Benson Mayowa, and he's not enough.
Last question here on NFL Daily. If we missed your questions, hit up Tom on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. I'm on Instagram at MitchellRens365. Yeah, all right, what do we got? Stage. Who should the Dolphins trade for before the deadline? Oh, boy.
That's a good question. I don't...
Potentially a running back, but they're going to probably stick with Gaskin. I mean, there's no running backs that I would even go after.
I know that the Dolphins are kind of in a playoff push area.
Geno Atkins, maybe in the defensive
I don't
line.
think
You
he
just
fits
lost
their
Raekwon
timeline.
McMillan.
I think the best path for Miami is honestly just stand pat. Like you got great draft assets coming down down the pipeline. You might have a top 5 pick from Houston. Like I'd say, just keep your draft picks. We know that they're rebuilding. They're a little bit ahead of schedule here. Keep searching. That's what I think you should do. Just stay the course. Keep your draft picks and continue to focus on the future.